shit. We're going to take a look at this Logitech MX5500 keyboard. This guy is doing the classic sticky keys, where some of the keys on it actually don't work anymore. So we're going to take this guy apart and we're going to see if we can fix this. And I'm going to walk you through it so that you can do it yourself. Okay, so first in your set of tools that you're going to need is you're going to need a Phillips head screwdriver. You're also going to need an anti-static mat so that you have some place to put all the stuff on. And also it's good for electrostatic discharge. You're also going to need a technical manual just in case, and a pad of paper in case you can't remember where you left off. So now we're going to take apart the keyboard. First you're going to take the batteries out, and then after the batteries are taken out and removed, you're going to remove all of the screws on the back panel of the keyboard. This will take a few minutes, obviously. And then once you get all those screws out, you'll be able to lift that back panel up and it'll reveal all the electronics that are on the board. You're going to have to detach the keyboard itself and just move it off to the side. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take off the rubber components, and then we're going to detach some of these wires so that we can get around on the keyboard. And then once we do that, we'll be able to take off the rest of these rubber components. I'm going to check the Mylar plastic for any spillage or anything like that. If you see any, go ahead and take them out, and you're going to rub them down with isopropyl alcohol. In this case, it looks like the Mylar boards are fine, so we're going to go ahead and we're just going to put this back together and reassemble it. And as you're putting this back together, make sure everything fits in nice and tight and correctly. If it doesn't, then the keyboard's not going to function right. And now just tag those wires back down, like just the way that you found them. If you don't, then the keyboard's not going to fit together right either. Now we're going to set that aside, and then we're going to take the LCD screen off of the keyboard itself. And then after we get that done, we're going to throw this in the sink. So at this point, we've removed all the circuitry on the top part of the keyboard. So at this point, you can actually wash this with a good old-fashioned soap and water, and it's not going to hurt anything. You're just going to have to let it stand a few minutes to let it dry, or you can use a classic blow dryer if you need to get back to your game really quickly because you can't miss a match. That would work as well. So now that the keyboard's nice and dry, it's time for reassembly. We're just going to put the LCD screen back in. Once that screw decides to cooperate with me. There we go. And we're just going to reassemble the keyboard. We're just going to put the LCD screen back in that little port right there and just flip it over and put all the screws back in. If that wants to cooperate with me too. And as you can see, it doesn't want to. You gotta make sure that that gets in there really nice and tight. There we go. That's better. Okay. And now the boring reassembly, putting all the screws back in. And now the moment of truth. Oh, helps if I put the battery in right. There we go. And there we go. So the LCD's lit back up, so we know that this is getting power correctly. So now we're going to go and test this. Alright, so let's give this a shot and see how we did. Seems to be working. Typos and all. Number keys work, and the function keys work just fine. Cap lock works, tab works, works pretty good. My Windows key works, and the buttons on the side seem to work. So, okay, I think we're good. I think we've got a keyboard. So now let's put it to the ultimate test. God damn it.